Hi, it's Katie Sariani Bowl, and I'm back with Katie Stories number 23. I hope you got to watch my Valentine's special last week. I had a cute little dress with hearts on. It was really fun. I got it for $4.50 at Function Fashion, one of Nanaimo's great consignment stores. We've got a couple of real dandies here. And so I just wanted to, happy weekend. It's Sunday. Hope you're having a great Sunday. My daughter was here for reading week, and it was wonderful. We had such a great time, quite a lot of time together just to hang out and drive around and have coffees and do things, have some lunch. So that was great. And yeah, she's back to school now, but it'll just be a few months and she'll be home again. So yeah, we're getting good at this empty nester thing. Yay! And we're going out tonight for dinner. Donna, I can't wait to see you. A really good friend of mine. She's born and raised. Oh boy, she could tell a lot of Katie stories and all the shenanigans at her house. And she's in town right now with her husband. So my husband and I are meeting her and two of their friends at the Gego for dinner. And she's going to do another Katie story with me sometime this week. So yay. So this will be my serious one. I'm going to talk more about the healing process, last 14 years. And then next week we'll do a fun one with Donna and I, and she'll probably embarrass me. Like, she's a little bit older than me and she loved to poke fun at me in that good friend natured way, because I was a little cut up. And yeah, I was a handful. I still am. And Donna always gave me the gears, but God, we had fun together. So for now, gonna carry on. Let's see, now we're about 2003 is when I did the group therapy, and that really helped me address and open up a conversation about the eating disorder that I was hiding. And I just wanted to mention, before I move on to my next sources of healing, that Janice was really great about telling us to put on our detective cap, be symbolic about it, and just think you are your own detective. It's not selfish. It's not self-absorbed. It's about getting in touch with your feelings, any little pains that you're holding. Just when something feels off and not right, when you don't feel aligned, drop. Like, go get still, go get quiet. Try listening to a different meditation out there on YouTube. There's so many different ones, like 5-minute relaxations or ones to help you focus. And she also got us thinking about our storyboard. So we had taken a big, huge stretch of paper and started a timeline of where and when we first started getting those messages that something wasn't right, where we didn't feel like our body was right. And funny, I remember mine quite clearly. It's probably not the first vivid one, because I probably had earlier ones as a child. But I remember in grade 4, I was just normal size. But I was at a friend's across town, and I know it was probably April, and the weather was unusually hot. And I had to borrow a pair of shorts because we were going to go to the park and meet some boys. Why do I feel like I've told this story before? Anyway, sorry if I'm repeating myself. And so I went to borrow some shorts from her, and she gave me a few choices. And of course, I wanted the cute cut-off jean shorts. But when I went to try them on, I just had this big V across my tummy, and I couldn't do them up. And I remember that, like, oh. And then she had, a pair of like stretch kind of shorts, more sporty. This is like the 70s, so it wasn't like they were really good looking. And okay, I had to wear those. And I remember being bummed, thinking, I can't wear the cute clothes I want to wear right now because I don't have a body like my friend. She was very slim, very slender. And so, from there, I remember grade 5, my big sister who loved me. Like, she really was a really nice sister. The middle sister that passed this year, she passed away in April of 2019. And she had said, Kate, you should watch what you're eating. You look like you're putting on a little bit of weight. You have really nice legs. You don't want to lose those. And funny, but I remember from that comment actually just sort of gaining even more weight. So it certainly doesn't help when we pick at people. And I always said about when I became a mom to ban the F word from my house. And I don't mean fuck. I mean fat, right? Just love yourself, love your kids the way they are, and just help them, role model great healthy eating habits and moving your body, and have fun while you're doing it. Don't shame people, because it just sets you up for a lifetime of picking at yourself and others. So I'm going to move along from there. I know that I did, because that opened up a conversation with the eating disorder and the things that the secrets I've been keeping. Off I went to a great psychologist. She was $90 an hour. And believe me, that was really expensive considering that my husband and I were working, middle of the range salaries and paying for daycare and our daughter and mortgage. But I knew intuitively even then, it's worth it. Like paying to have mental health, physical health. If you're feeling out of shape and you just feel like you need to get motivated, I don't see any harm in paying someone to help motivate you. I'm doing it right now because I kind of just lost my edge a little bit. And it's not forever, it's temporary, and it feels great. And we have a lot of laughs and share a lot of good chats. Thanks, Samantha. And but even back then, I just knew that you should invest in your physical, your spiritual, your emotional, because you're the one that drives your life, right? This is your house. And where are you going to live? If your house isn't healthy and full of drafts and holes, just make it right, make it tight. And so from this psychologist really helped me replace a lot of old thought patterns. So what we would do even is after I'd gotten comfortable talking to her about a lot of things, and she was so wonderful in assuring me that there was nothing to be ashamed of. And when I tried to beat myself up and say, wait a minute, I'm a really awful person because let me tell you this and that and how I think and these, she'd say, no, you're not. No, you're not. This old trauma you're healing from. Let's get to the root of that. And let's flip those thoughts. Change the channel. Let's replace them. And we would use sticky notes, right? And it would be, I'm safe now. It's okay to be thin or feel amazing and dress great and say your truth and put things out there because we're not children anymore. And it's safe. Even I always actually felt safe speaking up in my family. But sometimes, as we head through school and even going into other areas in our life, working with people or, getting to know like parents of our kids' friends and everybody, you want to fit. And we all struggle at times. And don't say you don't, because we do. So from there, I'm going to head on to, it was really interesting. One time my best friend and I was telling her about my mom-in-law, said she was seeing this energy lady, so I gotta get in the middle here. And she was paying her $65 an hour, and this woman would not lay her hands on her. So it wasn't like Reiki, where someone's touching you. She said this woman would just sit in the room, just sort of making notes while she lied on this bed and didn't put her hands on her. So my friend and I kind of laughed, right? Paying her how much to do what? Well, a couple months later, I was paying her $65 and lying there without her putting her hands on me, hearing her make little notes. And she was just a very sort of Zen person, but sort of serious and okay. And one of the first things she did, I think the very first meeting, I had eczema. And I when you're in your mind too much, if you're not conscious and in the subconscious all the time and not present, your body can pick up itches and little pains and squeaks and neck going out. I had a lot of issues going on. I think that's because I was also healing, right, on the spiritual journey and things start coming up. So I had this eczema and I'd never had that before. I'd had maybe some hives. I thought I was allergic to my cat in the 90s and had an allergy test done that revealed smoke, dust, and pollen. So I had this eczema and my palms were like pizza and I had it on my tummy and kind of like in my thighs, on my legs. One session with this woman and it was gone. And I never understood. She said that literally she could sort of take things. We have a spear around us, this energy, and how she could remove things. And the next session, within a few sessions, we worked on my menstrual cycle because it was completely all over the map. I never knew ever since I was 12 years old when I would get it. It would be 2 months or 3 months and then 6 weeks and 4 weeks and 3 months. And it was just so regular. And she actually had it so regular, it was running with the full moon. Ooh. So I had to run back to her like, help, can you kind of like tweak that a bit? It's a little crazy. The biggest thing, no, it's not the biggest thing. The second biggest thing that she did for me was she absolutely believed I didn't need the antidepressants anymore for dealing with my serotonin levels with the eating disorder. So I just let that go. I trusted her on that. I weaned off of them. I let my doctor know. He said, Kate, that's your choice. And if you struggle, you can come back and go on them. I went, yeah. And yeah, I've never been on an antidepressant since. And I don't think there's anything wrong to a point if someone needs to lift up so they can see where they need to be to make changes, to make their life happier and have more peace. But I think at some point you really do need to wean off them, that it's just a Band-Aid. You got to get to the symptom and to the root. And the only way out is through. Robert Frost said that. He's a wise guy, huh? And then I said it. I'm trying to sound wise too. So now, here's what the biggest thing she did for me. She kicked my ass. It was one of the second or third times I went to see her. And I ended up with a really bad cold and a sinus infection. And I was feeling really sorry for myself. I was having a pity party and feeling really bummed out. And so I called her. And she had recommended that I buy this book, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, because it's all about being in your head and being present. And I hadn't bought it yet. I was making a lot of excuses back then, but I was suffering. I didn't want to suffer anymore, and I wanted someone just to give me this magical pill that would end it all. And she knew that. So when I called her and she said, how are you? Well, actually, I feel like maybe I'm worse. I've got a sinus infection, and I don't know with your energy if maybe I picked that up. Well, I pissed her off. I don't know if it was her ego, but I don't think it was. Because, she just said, you know what? There are so many people out there with so many worse things than you. I'm working with people with cancer and really serious diseases and that are life-threatening. And I got to ask you, Katie, did you buy that book, The Power of Now? And I went, no, I've just been busy. And she said, you know what? Go buy that book. And when you've bought it and you've read a bit of it, then you give me a call and we'll have another session. And that was it. She ended the call. And I was horribly ashamed and embarrassed. My face was like super red. And I went and lied down in my bed and cried. I just felt like a fucking idiot. And then I went out and bought the book. Here it is. And this was hugely another step in that big journey. Now, I want to just quickly read a couple of parts because we're getting to, 12 minutes. Okay, so I got to end this really quick. Instead of watching the thinker, you can also create a gap in the mind stream by simply directing the focus of your attention into the now. This is a deeply satisfying thing to do. In this way, you draw consciousness away from your mind activity, create a gap of no mind in which you're highly alert and aware, but not thinking. This is the essence of meditation. And it's also, the good news is you can free yourself from your mind. This is the only true liberation. You can take the first step right now. Start listening to the voice in your head as often as you can. Pay particular attention to any repetitive thought patterns, those old gramophone records that have been playing in your head perhaps for many years. This is what I mean by watching the thinker, Eckhart Tolle says, which is another way of saying listen to the voice in your head. Be there as the witnessing presence. The witnessing presence is you. That's your authentic you. Watching the lies and the stories and the things that you tell yourself, the untruths, the distorted reality that you create. And so the most vital step on your journey towards enlightenment is this. Learn to disidentify from your mind. Every time you create a gap in the stream of mind, the light of your consciousness grows stronger. One day you may catch yourself smiling at the voice in your head as you would smile at the antics of a child. This means that you no longer take the content of your mind all that seriously, as your sense of self does not depend on it. Isn't that cool? So if you are struggling, if you're suffering, such a great book. Start with this one. Start reading anything that's really positive that'll shift your consciousness, because it's not everyone else. Don't play the blame game. Take ownership. Get excited. This is your life, right? Get excited. And there's going to be bad days where you don't feel this excitement, where you feel crunchy and tired, and be with that. Be still. Go somewhere alone. Lock yourself in the bathroom and lie on the floor. Just do what you got to do to love yourself and hear what needs to come out. Honor and validate that stuff. Okay, I'll see you next week. We're going to talk about going back to school. Kindergarten, my daughter. Yeah. And we're it all gets a bit muddy again. Just as I think I'm figuring it out, then I have to start school all over again and try and fit in. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have something incredible going on that I cannot talk about. No, it's not the redhead thing. I haven't heard on that. But there's another project, and it would really help me to have my YouTube subscriptions up, to have my Instagram following up. And I'm a big talker, and I just want to tell you because it's really exciting, but I'm going to bake this bread slowly in the oven, and I don't want it to fall. So I'm going to keep it to myself right now and build that energy. So I'll see you next, actually maybe sometime this week with my friend Donna. Bye. Have a great rest of your weekend.